quickly also going to cover how to problem solve with equations, right? So problem solving means you're given a worded equation first, and then you need to change that into number equation, and from there go through the same steps as we've discussed in the past, right? So the rules are, first, this is what you have to do before we begin. So you're usually given a word equation, you have to convert that word equation into a number equation, right? And then we'll go through the same steps as per usual, right? So the first example, which is this one over here, the cost C in dollars of some grocery items. So some grocery items, or it tells you that's our unknown, plus a $3 delivery charge, totals $55. Right? So totals $55. That's your word equation. Now put that into a number equation. Let's have a go. So we have already told you, or I've already told you. So it says the cost in dollars of some grocery items. So that some grocery items, we don't know what that is. That's unknown. So we say that's C because it tells you that's C. Now it tells you the operation is plus, right? So we just add the plus to it. And we have to buy the groceries plus pay a $3 surcharge. And it tells you totals. Remember, totals is the same as equals to. So we've got an equal sign. Totals, how much? $55. Now that's the first thing. We just write that into a word equation. And once you've done that, we're going to go for the same steps as per usual. Because remember the aim, so it's the aim over here, we're up to this part over here. So the aim is to have the pronumeral, the letter, be by itself either on the left hand or the right hand side. Alright, so how do we do this? Well, if we've got C over here, that's what we try to get to be by itself. So I'll use a blue color to make it more obvious. So the C is what we try to have by itself by the end. Now the ways we do that is we find the inverse of whatever we're trying to move, right? So over here, find the inverse of whatever we're trying to remove. Remember, we're trying to remove the plus 3 over here. So what's the inverse of plus 3? Well, that would be the opposite, so inverse the opposite. That would be minus 3. Now the rule is you don't just do it to one side. We're up to the last part of here. We do it to both sides. So we do minus 3 to both sides. And we do plus 3 minus 3. Why? Because that equals 0, which means we can cancel this out. And we're left with what on the left hand side? We'll be left with just C on the left hand side, because the plus 3 is gone. And we're left with what's 55 minus 3? Well, that would be $52. So now, if we go back in terms of we want to write this, what that means is we found the cost of the groceries. So the cost of the groceries is $52. And I can put that in words, right? So I can just write the cost of groceries is $52. Right? That's what we tried to find out, and now we have the answer to it. Right, how about the next problem? So here we have each of 4 people receive the same number of lollies n when a bag contains 36 lollies is shared amongst them. So obviously we're trying to figure out how much each of them get. But first, remember, first we have to write that into a worded equation. Right, so it says each of 4 people. Right, so we have 4 times a number of people, so 4n. And it receives some number of lollies. So the number of lollies is what we don't know, so that's our unknown. And we give out a total of, so we give out a bag containing a total of 36 lollies. Right, so that's your worded equation. Let's put that into number equation. So remember, it says each of 4 people, so 4 people, and this would be 4 times. So each of those 4 people get some number of lollies. So 4 times n, right? Because we don't know how many they get yet, but we know 4 people get lollies, so 4 times n equals, and how many do we have in total? Well, we have 36. Now 4 times n can also be written as 4n equals 36. Remember why? Because 4 times n is the same as just 4n. So that's the actual equation, but we haven't actually figured out our answer yet. The answer is, well, what is n equal to, right? How much does each person get? Well, 4 people get 36 lollies. How much does each person get? The rules are the same though. The aim was to get the pronumeral to be by itself. So in this case, we want to get the n to be by itself. what we have in front of the n, we have 4 times n. Well, what's the opposite of times? We said that was division, divided by. So we're going to divide both sides. Remember the inverse. So divide both sides by the inverse. So if we try to remove the 4, well, we divide both sides by 4. What's 4 divided by 4? That's just equal to 1. And 1n is the same as n, so we can cancel this out. And we're left with what on the left hand side? We're left with just n. And what's 36 divided by 4? That would equal to 9. And then that would be your answer. Alright, so in this case, each person, what this means is each person gets 9 lollies. And again, I can write this out. I can say each person receives 9 lollies. And that's basically, once I've solved my equation, that's what I found out, how many lollies each person gets. So problem solving equations, same idea as beforehand. First, you convert your word equation to number equation, and then you go through the normal steps. Get the polynomial to be by itself. How do we do that? By finding the inverse of what we're trying to remove. So if we're trying to remove plus, we do minus. If we're trying to remove times, we do divided by. And make sure to do it to both sides. And then whatever our polynomial is equal to is your answer. And that's how we solve problems with equations.